Welcome to Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Join hosts Dan Melnick and Qasim Masood as they explore big ideas, limitless possibilities, and engage with visionaries, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders who dare to dream big, get inspired, motivated, and find practical tips for personal growth. Think big, dream bigger, and ignite your potential.
Welcome to the Think Big with Dan and Qasim. Today, our guest is Marco Basile. Marco, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Qasim. Thank you.
Awesome. So, Marco, let us know what you do and where you live.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm personally based out of Milan in Italy. And what we do at Executive Performance Architects is simple. We enable executives and companies to make mission critical strategic decisions faster and better, like big companies. These type of decisions that are able to impact not only the bottom line in the short term, but enable them to be growing, sustainable, and really like world-changing businesses in the long term. There are many examples out there that we all know of. These are the big names. They are Starbucks. They are Everlane. They are businesses like Patagonia. These companies that are all sustainable businesses, and they're all, environment friendly. And that's why they are so successful like they are. So that's really, in a nutshell, what we do. And we do so by using our tech partners, enabling companies with AI agents, so agentic AI workflows, and our bespoke consciousness architecture, which, to put it simply, allows, again, companies and executives to make decisions from an higher state of consciousness. So from a, place of, peace and love, which eventually is at the same level of companies like Google and Tesla and so on.
Awesome. So, you have a good AI knowledge. So, can you let us know what are some of the most exciting ways Gen AI is transforming the e-commerce leadership?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, again, of course, we all know when ChatGPT came out in December 2022, it really seemed like the first time that Gen AI, AI came out. But in all honesty, I mean, AI was already present in multiple ways, right? We already had predictive AI, in financial markets. We already had conversational AI with, chatbots, right? And e-commerce readers were already using it. So AI is nothing new. The difference that we have right now is that it's really like people facing, right? So people are able to pretty much make use of AI on a daily basis. Now, another point that is worth mentioning is that generative AI is evolving faster. However, there is something that in my view, it's almost like generative AI applied, which is agentic AI. Now, to put it simple for the people that are listening, generative AI is very much like you're interacting with ChatGPT in a chat, in a conversation. So you type a question and you get a response. That's pretty much like how generative AI works. With all the plugins and all the, and the GPT store and however you like, but that is pretty much the structure. Now, agentic AI is actually a step forward because it allows your businesses to automate certain repetitive tasks with the support of generative AI. So it's not automation anymore, but it is AI-powered automation applied to your business processes, to your company vision, right? So in conclusion, the ability, the way that AI and generative AI and agentic AI are impacting the leadership, and not only for e-commerce leaders, is pretty much the ability to do like 3-5 times more in less time, in way less time. Being able to have strategic decision-making capabilities of world leaders, right? Without the expense of it, right? Of course, if you know how to use these tools really well. So that is in a nutshell.
All right. So, do you think like it may have positive and negative impacts both while it is helping you maybe in decision making? So, because sometimes when we are thinking about solution, we have our own thinking. Like nobody knows which direction I will be going when I'm thinking about a solution. So, when we are getting help from agentic AI or generative AI. So at that time, obviously, it is going to show you a prospect there is a possibility that you will lose your own prospect that you were thinking about, and it will give you a complete different prospect, and you will move to that prospect at that time. So do you think it will have a bad impact as well, or you think like it will be still good in the process of
Okay.
judgment or
Well, that's a good.
decision making?
No, yeah, that's a great question. Well, I mean, that is a complex topic, and that needs to it needs to break down into many parts, right? So first and foremost, yes, if you don't know how to integrate AI into your own company, it might actually advise you certain things that you wouldn't do normally. And that is the first challenge. That is the first bottleneck, which is pretty much fixed when you integrate the AI at a company level. So you pretty much align the AI solutions with the company's values, the company mission, the objectives, company data, company knowledge. You integrate it into an only one source of truth, and there you shouldn't have these kind of issues anymore. Alright? So that is the first point. The second point, it comes down to how you instruct AI, right? It really depends on the outcome and your ability to make use of AI. AI is just a tool. The change happens in the way you use it. Right? The change takes place when you know how to use it. All right. So another point worth mentioning is the difference between a company level and global scale. Right? Because I think at a company level, as long as you integrate it correctly, as long as you know how to make use of AI, and as long as you recognize that AI has its own flaws, AI doesn't take into account, emotions, at least not as much as humans, right? So AI has its own flaws, right? But that is definitely solvable. On a global scale, I think the way we're approaching the development of AI is a bit mindless, right? So lately you had Biden signing the bills against the climate change, which in other words means that AI companies have free reign to grow as fast as they want to grow, right? Which is another mindless approach, which eventually may lead to a similar event to 2008, right? With the real estate bubble. So that is something that I think is wrong and that should be addressed. Like the way that we are actually addressing AI is all about growth, like it's always been, which leads us to unsustainable activities and results, right? So I think we should approach AI in terms of efficiency on a global scale.
All right. So if we ask this question in a way where I say, like, what is the impact of this new tech on your own company, and how positively it is impacting you and your company and the strategies of your business?
Yeah, totally. Well, that's a multifaceted question. All right, so it needs to be broken down into several parts. Now, my story personally, we started out this business I started out this business as a peak performance optimization coach, which I was pretty much helping executives with their own, physiological performance and even tech workflows in order to enable work-life presence, integration, and faster decision making, enhanced productivity. Now, my journey with AI started as a skeptical. When I was back in June, I started using Claude, and since then everything changed. I was able to systematize my business so fast that I couldn't even believe it. We got to the point that 2 months after, I held an AI prompting workshop inside Global Chamber, which is an international community. And a couple of weeks after, I found myself to be the group leader of the AI sub community inside this big community worldwide. And eventually got invited to join the AI Council, and now I'm actually, jumping on multiple podcasts. And these wouldn't be taking place without AI, because the ability that you have to be so much more productive, but it's not just about productivity. It's about the ability to make the right decisions when it matters the most. Like most businesses, like in our situation, like they don't want funding. They want to do it on their own terms. They are bootstrapped, but they need to make the right decisions. They need to communicate well each and every single day with potential prospects, partners. And AI has been crucial, right? Emotions can get in the way as a human being, but with AI, it's not taking place because I already have everything set. It's already automated, and it makes you look like, as a caring person when maybe sometimes you're just nervous, right? Because we're humans, right? We experience emotions. It enables you to make strategic decisions when your judgment is clouded, right? Both on a personal and on a company level. It enables you to come up with strategic insights that you wouldn't be able to come up otherwise. As a matter of fact, decision making, so focusing our efforts on decision making for companies and executives came out of AI. It was an insight that came out of AI. But we did do research that was powered by AI, and apparently we did the right bet because decision making is timely. So that's actually in a nutshell. Again, in conclusion, AI can help you both personally and professionally, right? With a facets of situations. It really comes down to the ability of tailoring AI and giving it context to give you the right responses. And don't be lazy, right? Be, you should actually take the time, put in more time into prompting and into giving AI the right context in order to get the results that you want. So that's in a nutshell.
Yeah, I think it completely makes sense. So, can you share one challenge? Because I believe challenges are meant for the ones who are going ahead in the technology, or they are entrepreneur, and you are both. So, I believe you must have faced a lot of challenges. If you can share one challenge with me that you faced, and how you were able to cope up with it.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. Well, again, challenges are things that we face every day, and especially in the entrepreneurial journey, I remember this very funny GIF, which was showing an entrepreneur beating his head against the walls every time, right? So that's how you actually progress in entrepreneurship. So you beat your head against the wall, you find a solution, and then you move on to the next level. Kind of like what is being purported by Ray Dalio in his book Principles. Right? I'm sure that some people read this book. Is absolutely insightful. Now, when it comes to a typical challenge that I've been facing, and that I, of course, have been working on it and it's actually working successfully, is typical prospecting. Now, believe it or most people know this, but doing cold prospecting in today's market is not cheap, right? It requires you to actually invest into solid tech stack or into a partnership. You risk to burn your market. You risk to burn your brand reputation. There are lots of risks at play when it comes to cold prospecting. Now, the future, I think, is going to be made of warm networks, warm referral networks. In a way, it's weird because it's almost like we're, going back to the future, right? Because we think that, with the advent of technology and AI, we're more and more empowered to connect with anyone. Yes, that is true. But most people abused of it. And now we find ourselves in a situation where not so many people want to connect with anyone on the planet, right? Because they think it's spam and it just gets into the spam folder. Right. So one way that I actually approached this was by being really strategic and leveraging networks. So I'll make an example that anyone can make use of. So let's assume that you want to crack a new industry. So what you would do normally is, approaching it with cold prospecting. Send thousands of emails, thousands of LinkedIn invitations. And that's, the typical approach of many people. Now, that is not high leverage, especially if you're a CEO or a founder. You know what I'm talking about. You want to make, to get the most leverage out of your time, right? And a simple way to do that is crack the biggest nut. And the biggest nut are the influencers. So choose 3 to 5 influencers that you really want to build a relationship with, and eventually you start commenting on their posts. You start providing insights. You start providing value, and then from there you build trust with them. And these are Pandora boxes. Once you connect with these people, you'll be sure that you'll find opportunities, and you won't need to actually chase prospects ever again. Because of course, maybe you're not gonna be getting clients right away, but eventually, once you do, it's going to be the reverse approach, which is what we're doing right now. Right? We're jumping on podcasts, we're doing all of these because You want to build a machine that attracts prospects, that draws them in, not a machine where it just looks like a rat race, right? Where you just, it literally just looks like a rat wheel, just like you just have to keep going, to keep doing prospecting every day. Otherwise, your business stops, right? So there is a way that I think, and of course, you can use AI with that, but there is a way that I think, in conclusion, you could approach a challenge that is literally like every day is in a strategic way.
All right, makes sense. So, as we have short time, so could you please give biggest piece of advice for the ones who are planning for this sector, like agentic AI and Gen AI, and the ones who are want to start business in this field? So for both of the people, I think if you have any piece of advice, then let us know, please.
Yeah, no, totally. Well, assuming that the question is actually referred to the companies looking to implement agentic AI in their businesses,
Yeah.
I'd say you don't want to overwhelm yourself, right? So, of course, I mean, if you have the budget, you can start working right away with a partner like us, but I don't think it's necessary. I think you want to start small. I think you want to see and experience the aha moments yourself with generative AI first. So sign up for GPT, sign up for Claude, and start playing with prompting. And I'll be happy to share a guide with our audience for simple prompting that can start getting them to see some good results right away. But I think sign up for either GPT or Claude, depending on what you find yourself the most, what you find yourself, good with, and give AI context. Create your sales asset, create your marketing asset, provide your company vision, your objectives. You need to provide context to AI, otherwise you will miss the mark. And once you provide context, learn a decent prompting. So a normal prompting technique that I use every day is a framework composed by identity, constraints, context, goal, and task, right? So identity, which is identity that you want the AI to embody. Context, typical context is consider that my company is in XYZ stage. Consider that I am the role of this company. Consider that we have that many employees. Consider that we had these challenges. That is the context. Then you have the constraints. These are the criteria, the parameters, the guidelines, right? So we must make sure that we can afford these within a budget of XYZ. That is a constraint. Or we must make sure that we can, meet the demands of our stakeholders, which are as follows. That is a constraint, right? The goal is simply what you want to achieve, right? So we want to enter into the healthcare market and generate 1 million in revenue in the first year. That is a goal. All right. And of course, lastly, we have the task. What AI needs to do in order to help you achieve that goal. So there is a simple framework that you can keep, that you can use every day, and it's a starting point. Eventually, once you gain some confidence and you're like, well, I mean, I love AI, but I don't want to do this myself. I need some help in terms of coaching, or I need someone that can help us integrate this at a company-wide level, then yes, we can help. But until then, start playing out with AI if you are new to it. Start playing out with it, start seeing some good results and some good resources that you can build out with it. And then eventually you will gain the trust and the confidence required to invest into higher priced solutions.
Awesome. That must be useful for many people. So thank you, Marco. Thanks for joining us today. Please let our viewers know where they can reach you if someone wants to.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, they can reach us on LinkedIn. Company is called Executive Performance Architects. Personally, they can reach out to me, Marco Basile, Agentic Architect, on LinkedIn, our email as well. And of course, there is even our website, executiveperformancearchitects.io. And please reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to support you. We have some free resources, some free lead magnets that we can share. Plus, if you share with us your requirements, we can literally build simple resources in a very fast turnaround because we had the tools to do so, to empower you. So yeah, those are the methods that they can use to reach out to us.
Thank you, Marcos. Thank you, so nice of you. Thanks for joining us today, and we will stay in touch. Have a good day.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Kazim.
Thank you. Bye bye.